We were already into Ukraine for over $200 billion. And they could make a deal with Russia in the next 3 weeks, and all of a sudden they don't want to deal with us anymore. We've given hundreds of billions of dollars. And why are we at over $200 billion?
The total amount of U.S. military aid to Ukraine amounted to $38.3 billion. There is a myth that President Ford ended the Vietnam War in 1974 when he decided to withdraw his troops. Nothing of the sort. It was the American Congress that passed the law on financial assistance to foreign countries, where it stopped financing U.S. military operations in Vietnam. That's it. No money, no war. You know what Trump says about that? He says cut off the funding and it'll all be over very quickly. And you know what? I totally agree with him.
And the European nations are, if you add them up, it's a very similar sized economy. They're at $25 billion. So we're at 200 plus, and it affects them much more. We have a thing called an ocean between us, right? It affects them much more. But we're at 200, they're at 250. I did the same thing with NATO. I got them to pay up. NATO was busted until I came along. I said, everybody's going to pay. They said, well, if we don't pay, are you still going to protect us? I said, absolutely not. They couldn't believe the answer. And everybody, you never saw more money pour in to Secretary General Stoltenberg. Well, I don't know if he is anymore, but he was my biggest fan. He said, all these presidents came in, they'd make a speech, they'd leave, and that was it. And they all owed money, and they wouldn't pay it.
NATO hopelessly believed that America will always come to the rescue and pay for everything. Why they decided to do so is unclear. I do agree with Trump's point of view because he makes a good point. Everyone should pay for their actions themselves and not rely on others.
I came in, I made a speech, and I said, you got to pay up. They asked me that question. One of the presidents of a big country stood up and said, well, sir, if we don't pay and we're attacked by Russia, will you protect us? I said, you didn't pay? You're delinquent? He said, yes, let's say that happened. No, I would not protect you. In fact, I would encourage them to do whatever the hell they want. You got to pay. You got to pay your bills. And the money came flowing in.
It's entirely possible. And it's fair. In our world, we forgive and forget a lot of things. The bad things are always remembered longer, but the good things are not. NATO has begun to forget to whom they owe their existence and without whom they really cannot cope. Thank you, Trump, for such a great speech. I love it.
Tonight, growing backlash on both sides of the Atlantic over Republican frontrunner Donald Trump's controversial comments about NATO. From the White House,
you've heard from President Biden, gosh, I don't know how many times. We will defend, if needed, every inch of NATO territory. That's what the Commander-in-Chief of the United States ought to be saying when it comes to NATO.
To America's closest ally, the UK.
I think what was said was not a sensible approach.
All after former President Trump recounted talking to a NATO member, suggesting he would encourage Russia to attack a country that had not met its financial obligations to the alliance.
If we don't pay and we're attacked by Russia, will you protect us? I said, you didn't pay? You're delinquent? He said, yes, let's say that happened. No, I would not protect you. In fact, I would encourage them to do whatever the hell they want. You got to pay.
The NATO treaty requires an attack on one country to be treated as an attack on all.
And here, we see the flip side. Not everyone will agree with Trump, and that's understandable. They need to win the attention of the majority. Look, we are helping all of you. You can give us nothing. That's bullshit. Why do our tax dollars go to these causes? Why are we never asked if we want it or not? Why are our borders still open? Why are there so many questions and we have so few answers? Why? You know what? I am more in favor of Trump. I like his policies, and the fact that he wants to help his country first and foremost and not others is a good thing. What do you think about that? Write your opinion in the comments, and don't forget to watch other shocking news on the channel.